Walk with me down this supermarket aisle. I'm Amos Miller, and I've seen enough to know that your kitchen is being systematically lied to. You've been there, standing under those harsh, flickering fluorescent lights, staring at a plastic container of strawberries. They look perfect, ruby red, symmetrical, posing like models on a runway. You grab them, envisioning that burst of summer sweetness for your family, only to get home and bite into a hollow, watery disappointment that tastes like absolutely nothing. It is a calculated sting, a theft of your hard-earned cash that leaves your breakfast table cold and your expectations shattered. We are living in an era of aesthetic deception, where flavor is sacrificed at the altar of shelf life and shipping durability. You think you're buying fruit, but you are actually purchasing a high-tech experiment designed to withstand a cross-country truck ride, not to nourish the people you love. It is a tragedy played out in every grocery cart across this nation, yet we blindly reach for the next glossy carton, hoping for a miracle that never arrives. Why is it that the very items designed to entice our senses turn out to be the most soulless experiences in our pantry? You deserve better than this hollow charade. You deserve the real, untainted vitality that nature intended for your table. I have spent my life peeling back these layers of industrial compromise to find the truth behind what we put into our bodies. But if you think the mystery of the flavorless strawberry ends with a simple choice at the store, you have absolutely no idea how deep this rabbit hole actually goes. Why are some berries in that exact same stack kissed by divine sugary nectar, while others remain as bland as cardboard? The truth behind the shelf is far more unsettling than you ever dared to imagine. Look at your trash can. Every single week, you're tossing out hard-earned cash disguised as spoiled, mushy strawberries. It's not just a fruit, it's a financial hemorrhage. You walk into that gleaming aisle, grab a plastic container that looks perfect under those artificial lights, and pay a premium for the aesthetic. But by Thursday, half of them are soft, gray, and destined for the bin. We blame the season. We blame the weather. We tell ourselves that high-quality produce is simply a luxury we can't afford. That is a lie. I'm Amos Miller, and I'm telling you that this isn't a failure of the harvest. It's a calculated failure of your selection process. You've been conditioned to buy with your eyes, prioritizing the shine over the substance. Every time you throw away those rotting berries, you aren't just losing fruit. You're funding a system that relies on your inability to spot the difference between genuine nutrition and mass-produced vanity. It's a cycle of waste that hits your wallet hard while your family settles for lackluster flavor. You're working too damn hard to let your grocery budget vanish into the compost pile because you haven't learned the secrets the industrial giants don't want you to know. They rely on your ignorance, banking on the fact that you'll keep coming back for more, hoping the next box will finally taste like something real. But if you think your financial losses are just a small price to pay for convenience, you're dead wrong. The real cost is buried deeper than the mold on the bottom of that plastic box. Are you actually paying for the health of your family, or are you just buying a pretty lie while the flavor you deserve stays hidden from view? You are paying for a pretty lie while the flavor you deserve stays hidden from view. I'm Amos Miller, and I'm here to tell you that this cycle of disappointment ends today. We've been conditioned to view food as a mere commodity, something snatched off a shelf based on aesthetics alone. It's a tragedy born from our obsession with convenience, a fast-paced life that has severed our connection to the very earth beneath our feet. There was a time when our ancestors understood the secret language of the soil. They didn't need labels or fancy marketing to identify quality. They had intuition, a refined sense of what nature intended. Choosing a strawberry isn't a gamble, and it certainly isn't a game of luck. It is an ancient, delicate art form that has been cruelly buried under the debris of modern industrial agriculture. We have traded wisdom for speed, and our palates have suffered the consequences of this hollow, modern convenience. Everything I do here at Miller's Farm is about stripping away that noise. It's about returning to a lifestyle of simplicity, where the fruit speaks for itself through its vibrant color, its subtle aroma, and the undeniable density of its structure. You don't need to be an expert to see the difference. You just need to be willing to wake up from the trance of mass production. We are relearning how to listen to the land, reclaiming the patience that our ancestors possessed, and finally demanding the nourishment our families truly require. But if you think the choice between mass-produced junk and true sustenance is merely a matter of taste, then you have been gravely mistaken. Are you truly ready to hold the master key that separates a natural sugar bomb from a sterile industrial product? Or will you keep settling for the bland illusions sitting in your grocery cart? I am Amos Miller, and today we dismantle the facade of the supermarket aisle. You believe you are shopping. In reality, you are being manipulated by aesthetics. Real farming isn't a mystery, but a disciplined dialogue with the soil. To reclaim your health, you must adopt the 5-point checklist that true growers use to identify nature's perfection. This is not about luck. It is about biology. The fruit must be dense, reflecting the mineral richness of the earth it sprouted from. It requires the right genetic heritage, preserved through generations, not engineered for shelf stability. When you hold a strawberry, you should feel the weight of its history. You must understand that a berry is a living vessel, capturing the sun's energy through a precise chemical dance. If the soil is dead, the fruit is merely a red, hollow shell. By following these rules, you reconnect with the pulse of the land. You stop being a consumer of products and start becoming a steward of quality. I see many people drifting through the produce section like ghosts, grabbing whatever looks shiny, unaware that the industry has perfected the art of the fake glow. They polish these berries with waxes and ship them in controlled atmospheres, stripping away the very nutrients you seek. But when you apply these 5 checks, you strip away their lies. You begin to see through the artificial luster that masks the absence of soul. But if you think that knowing the taste or the smell is the end of the road, you are dangerously blind to the reality. There is a singular element, the very first thing you must observe, which 99% of shoppers completely overlook when they first reach for that plastic container. I am Amos Miller, and I have spent my life listening to the silent language of the soil. When you reach for those strawberries, you are likely grabbing a product engineered for survival, not flavor. These commercial berries are bred to withstand thousands of miles of travel in refrigerated trucks. They are the zombies of the fruit aisle, firm, shiny, and structurally reinforced, yet entirely hollow inside. They prioritize shelf life over the delicate chemical compounds that define a true heirloom harvest. The industry sacrifices essence for endurance. While the commercial variety is a sturdy traveler, it lacks the soul of a fruit ripened under the sun. It never knew the gentle touch of a natural season. These berries are mere shadows of what nature intended, pushed to produce volume at the cost of every complex note that should dance on your palate. You are being sold a glossy, tasteless, uniform aesthetic, a visual lie that drains the joy out of eating. True sustainability begins with reclaiming our connection to the land, something I, Amos Miller, fight for every single day. We must stop settling for mass-produced plastic fruit that looks perfect but tastes like cardboard. You deserve the richness of real heritage strawberries that honor the earth, not the industrial machine. But wait, if you believe you have mastered the art of selection just by checking the firmness, you are barely scratching the surface of this deception. There is a sinister truth hidden in plain sight, a dark secret in the way these fruits are forced into existence long before they are ready to meet your kitchen. If you think the story ends with a simple choice, you are dangerously mistaken. The industry has perfected a cruel, silent science of manipulation. How can you identify a strawberry that has been chemically forced to ripen just by casting a single, piercing glance at its core? Stop looking at the red skin. That is exactly where the industry wants you to focus, because color is the easiest lie to manufacture. I am Amos Miller, and I am here to tell you that the true barcode of a strawberry's soul isn't found on its surface. It is etched into the crown. Look closely at those green leaves, the calyx. When you see a strawberry where the leafy cap is shriveled, brown, or pulled tight against the fruit, you are holding a relic of long-haul logistics. That fruit was severed from the vine before it ever had a chance to drink in the sugar of a final sunset. Nature intends for those leaves to stand proud, vibrant, and slightly reflexed away from the berry. If the cap looks like it is gasping for air, it is because it was harvested in a state of starvation. When you select a carton, pull one out and examine the intersection where the stem meets the fruit. A high-sugar, vine-ripened strawberry will have a slight, fleshy collar, a healthy swelling that signals the fruit was allowed to finish its biological cycle. If that area is flat or sunken, you are looking at a product of cold storage, a piece of produce that has been forced into a crimson hue while its internal sweetness remains permanently locked in a green, sour cage. It is a masterclass in deception, a silent crime against your palate that happens in grocery aisles every single day. But if you think that knowing the secret of the leaf is enough to guarantee quality, you are dangerously mistaken. There is an even deeper, more tactile betrayal waiting in your palm. If you think your eyes have seen the worst of it, you have no idea how heavy a lie can actually feel. I am Amos Miller, and I have spent my life listening to the silent language of the land. Forget the visual tricks. It is time to use your hands. Reach out and touch the skin. A truly succulent strawberry should feel firm, almost taut, yet possess a subtle, yielding elasticity under the gentle pressure of your thumb. It is not about squeezing until it bruises. It is about feeling the internal tension of life trapped within the fruit. If it feels mushy or limp, it is already dying, a hollow shell of flavor waiting for a landfill. The Amish farmers, my kin, have mastered this tactile dance for generations. They do not need to look at the rows. They navigate the fields by feel alone. They search for that specific resilience, a sign that the berry is packed with density and peak moisture. If it lacks that rebound, it has been harvested too early or left to rot in transit, losing its soul to the industrial machine. You are looking for a pulse, a heartbeat of sweetness hidden beneath a crimson skin. When you hold a perfect specimen, it carries a weight that defies its size, the unmistakable heaviness of pure, unadulterated juice. But if you think that knowing the secret of the touch is the end of this deception, you are blind to the most sinister layer of the game. Even when you find a firm fruit, there is a ghost haunting the produce section, a deep, pervasive scent that the retail giants have spent millions trying to suppress. They lock these berries in airtight plastic coffins specifically to starve your senses. But the truth is leaking out, and the smell is the final, undeniable confession. Knowing the secret of the touch is the end of this deception, you are blind to the most sinister layer of the game. Even when you find a firm fruit, there is a ghost haunting the produce section, a deep, pervasive scent that the retail giants have spent millions trying to suppress. They lock these berries in airtight plastic coffins specifically to starve your senses. But the truth is leaking out, and the smell is the final, undeniable confession. I am Amos Miller, and I believe that true strength isn't found in a sterile aisle, but in the quiet, honest connection we build with our food and our families. We are losing the art of self-reliance, trading our autonomy for the convenience of a supermarket shelf. When you choose to reclaim your kitchen, you aren't just buying fruit, you are voting for a legacy of health that corporations cannot commodify. About more than just picking the perfect strawberry, it is about protecting the sanctity of our homes and the future of our dinner tables. If you value the tradition of nourishing your family with integrity and independence, I invite you to walk this path with me. By subscribing to this channel, you join a growing community dedicated to restoring the values that truly matter. We are building a movement that refuses to settle for less than the best of what nature intended. But if you think that mastering the selection of a simple berry is the end of the line, you are profoundly mistaken. You have now unlocked the skill to spot the perfect fruit, but what will happen when you actually put these silent, powerful methods to the test the very next time you step into the light of day? You are standing in the aisles of a supermarket, and suddenly everything looks different. I am Amos Miller, and I am here to pull the veil back on a system designed to keep you blind. You see, those strawberries aren't just sitting there, they are being manipulated by a calculated strategy. Retailers prioritize aesthetics over your health, placing the most attractive yet flavorless fruit at eye level to exploit your impulse. They bury the truly nutritious artisanal harvests deep in the back, ensuring you settle for mass-produced mediocrity. Why? Because they profit from your ignorance. They never want you to understand the artisan techniques that define real, honest food. They fear the day you stop being a passive consumer and start being a conscious provider. This industry thrives on high turnover and low standards, hoping you never look past the polished wax on the skin. Every shelf layout is a psychological trap, carefully engineered to make you reach for the wrong crate, time and time again. It is a game of smoke and mirrors, where your wallet is the target and your health is the collateral damage. They rely on the fact that most people have forgotten what a real berry tastes like, the sharp, sweet explosion of nature that doesn't need to be covered in industrial dyes or long-term preservatives. They have spent decades crafting a reality where convenience trumps quality, and where the truth is kept tucked away in the shadows of the supply chain. But the real, chilling secret is that this deception isn't just about fruit. It is about controlling your autonomy. If you think that knowing how to pick a berry is the end of this journey, you are dangerously naive, because the industry's grip on your pantry is far tighter than you could ever imagine. You have the knowledge now, but how do you optimize the berries you just bought to make them stay fresh longer? The game is far from over, my friend. To extend the life of your harvest, never wash them until the very second you are ready to serve. Keep them dry, keep them cool, and watch as they defy the store-bought expiration dates that were engineered for your failure. I am Amos Miller, and I have shown you how to reclaim your kitchen from the corporate machine. Now, take this knowledge into the cold, fluorescent aisles of the grocery store on your next trip. Become the disruptor. Look past the waxy sheen and the deceptive packaging. Feel the weight, smell the essence, and trust your intuition over their marketing gimmicks. This is more than just picking fruit. It is an act of reclaiming your heritage and your health from a system that bets on your indifference. But if you think that knowing how to pick a berry is the end of this journey, you have vastly underestimated the power of the legacy we are building together. I want to hear from you. Share the wisdom passed down through your own families, those hidden gems of knowledge that kept our ancestors strong. Let us weave these fragmented pieces of ancient truth into a tapestry of collective intelligence. We are not just consumers. We are a community of informed, conscious minds, refusing to be silenced or misled any longer. By standing together, we force the industry to face the truth they desperately try to bury. Keep your eyes sharp and your standards high, because you have the power to change the narrative. Are you truly prepared to never have to regret buying the wrong strawberries ever again?